As I was telling Connie, my dad used to say it always snows on your daffodils in Denver. That's the way it is in Colorado. But I got to, last weekend, I got to go to Florida to visit a high school friend of mine, one of my best friends in high school, haven't seen in years and years. And, you know, I don't leave town a lot. And I've got 4 kids and a husband, and, you know, like by Wednesday I was like, why am I doing this? Trying to organize carpools and food and all of this stuff, right? So I got on the plane and I was like, gosh, this is really fun, flying by yourself with a book and iTunes. Oh. And so after a full day of flying, I land in Naples, where she lives, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a whole nother reality, right? It's green, trees, some tree, beautiful pink tree was blooming, there were flowers, it was 85 degrees. People were in shorts, people looked tan, and I was just stunned. I was so delighted. And it made me really think, like, it's so, you know, here we are in Denver, I'm living my life, it's brown. This is our Denver brown, you know, it really, what can you say? It's our brown face. And just to, like, when we live here day by day, do I think about the fact that in this place in Florida, there's this green and flowers, this whole nother reality? So I'm still collecting my energy back from Florida. I have to say, I've left a little bit with me at the beach. But it made me think about how we can be in one reality and be completely unaware of a different reality. Which made me think about when I was growing up, I grew up in Oklahoma. And there's not a whole heck of a lot to do in Oklahoma. Bingo, bowling, library. I'm a really good bowler, so just watch out if you ever ask me to bowl with you. And I loved to read. When I you know, learned how to read, reading just became this amazing thing where I could transport my reality. I could be in a different reality in a book. And I knew every inch of our public library, and it was a very small public library. And I would be so excited when I evolved from, you know, the primary readers to the second grade books. And I would move in the sections, you know, as my reading and as I grew up. And I finally moved into a section that was near, you know, kind of the young adult section. And I saw this book. I saw the spine of this book. It says, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret." I was like, wow. Wow. Of course, my mother would not let me check it out. But I grew up and I didn't feel very special about myself. This is really true. But I remember the day that I saw the spine of that book. I could go to that library today and tell you where that book was. Because I thought, oh my gosh, God has written this book. And someday I'm going to read that book and I'll get the answer. Are you there, God? I was so excited. And I would, every time I went to the library, I'd go, and then the days when it was checked out, very, very depressed. And I remember thinking, you know, when I was young, that I so believed God really did write that book for me. That's how my reality was. And then life happened, right? Had some pain at home, created some pain for myself, and my idea of, won't this look nice on the tape when I'm blowing my nose? My idea of myself in relation to spirit, in relation to God, really faltered. And my upbringing was very organized religion, which works for lots of people, and I'm glad it does. But it gave me an idea that, you know, God was really far away. And God was kind of waiting for me to make mistakes and punish me. And I really thought, you know, if that's the case, then I'm just going to go ahead and live my life and be punished. It didn't make sense to me. But I remember feeling as I got older so separate, so alone, so this concept of God very foreign, very much away from my day-to-day life. And in my truth, it's kind of the way the whole system is designed. We come into this body, into this lifetime, and as spirits, we're so excited because we're going to get to have a physical body. It's kind of a big deal. Again, my truth. And we have all these intentions and goals of things we want to learn and experience in the physical, and then we land and we forget. We forget that we're spirit. We forget that we've created this reality for growth, for experience, for the pleasures of eating, the physical body, these amazing things that we can do with our bodies. And we feel really alone. I think that I'm not alone in that. I think probably most of us here know what it's like to feel detached from spirit, alone. And so I was living my life, which was a really interesting life. And the thing that caught my attention, I had kind of just given up on, God, and I really didn't have my own truth around it at all. And I knew enough to know that the organized church wasn't, that didn't really resonate for me. I think I've probably told this story, but I got kicked out of Sunday school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for asking the question in second grade, why is God mad? Just didn't make any sense to me. And they kicked me out, and I had to sit in the hall, and then my mom came to get me. Of course, she was horrified, because what did this look like? Reject, kicked out of Sunday school. So I never got my answers that way. But something happened in my life. I was actually visiting my parents. I had just had my first baby, Sarah, and she was 4 months old. And my mom had a heart attack. She was 63 years old, so young. And she ended up passing away. And it was so interesting because my brother had called me, and here I am, right? I was a math major. I kind of just went into the black and white of the world. And I'm driving to the hospital, and I have this oh my gosh, she's gone. I have this this knowingness inside of me that was totally unexplainable with my rational brain. And I get to the hospital, sure enough, she had passed. And they asked my brother and I, and my dad, if we wanted to go see my mom. Well, I didn't know they asked these questions. I mean, I didn't know what to do. Do you do that? Do you not do that? So my dad said no, but my brother and I did. And I'm so glad that I did, because I went and I saw my mom, and I knew with every fiber of my being, not because somebody had told me, but I knew that she wasn't there and that she was still alive. I knew it. I just saw her body, and I was like, whoa. And so that was big. That was kind of earth-shattering for me, to have that knowingness. And Sarah was a really colicky baby. I don't know if there are any other mothers out here. I thought I was going to have the Gerber baby. Sleep, eat, coo. I had a redheaded daughter who's wonderful, and she's lovely, but she cried all the time. It was not a fun time of raising her. So my mom, when I had been visiting, she would get up with me in the middle of the night and, try to help me soothe Sarah. So the night after my mom passed away, I'm home, I'm in my parents' kitchen, and I'm doing what I always did with her, colicky. And the wind chimes that my dad had outside started going crazy. And I look outside, and there's nothing moving. There's no leaves moving. There's no, there's no anything moving in the yard. And I'm like, okay, hi, Mom. And I, again, had nothing to base this on, but I knew that she was there. And I'm like, okay, I cannot see you because I will freak out, I will faint, and I'll drop Sarah. So don't do anymore. So that was really the beginning of what I call my own kind of spiritual journey, really. And a journey of finding my own truth around what spirit with a capital S, or the universe, God, what that all means. And when I came here to ICI over a decade ago, this program really helped me to reveal my own truth about God and about spirit and about source and about me and why I'm here and the amazing spiritual support that all of us have that we forget about because we think we're alone. And I was doing a reading, so now my whole life is all about gray, right? I see stuff that isn't here, and I see it with certainty, and I love it. It intrigues me. I don't have all the answers, not at all, but it's fascinating to me.